Good morning, everyone. This is Jay Pandya. So, the title of the project is Touchscreen Based Ordering System for Restaurants. So, let me give you a brief introduction and motivation behind the project. As we all know, due to unprecedented situation created by COVID-19, social distancing is the new norm. But maintaining social distance is not quite feasible everywhere. So our system will help the restaurants to operate with minimum human resources. The system also helps to reduce the operational cost by using less human force. It will improve work efficiency, less human errors, and quick services. Also, some very high-end systems are being implemented in five-star restaurants, which are not quite economical for normal small-scale restaurants. So our project will take care of it. So before actually diving into the working of the system, we read some articles and papers on behalf of that. We prepared a few set of questions which were asked to the restaurants. The first one being the is the restaurant manager actually interested in the technology. So everyone was actually interested in the technology as the economical crisis due to COVID-19. So they wanted a quick and economical solution for waiters. So second thing was the size of the restaurant. The size, not every restaurant is same, so the size varied from 900 square feet to 1500 square feet. And the main question was how much money they were willing to spend on the product per table. So it came around 2500 to 5000 rupees. And the main question was availability of the Wi-Fi in the restaurants. We were surprised that all the restaurants did have Wi-Fi in their vicinity. The what now, how did the restaurant work currently, and how were the billing and orders were taken? So it was the normal method. Many restaurants used handwritten bills, and many restaurants used computerized billing method, where the amount and the food ordered were printed on the paper, and the ordered were ordering is as far as order is concerned, the every restaurant had same similar old fashion of ordering through a human waiter. Now, sorry, how much salary did they give to their waiters? It ranged from 12,000 to 15,000 depending on the type of the restaurant. How many tables did they have? It also ranged from 15 to 10 tables. Now, as we so after doing the restaurant survey, the next important thing was literature survey and past work done in this area. So we extracted information from 18 technical papers, few online articles and blogs, from which few papers had good extraordinary points. The first one being this paper suggested usage of Wi-Fi. Now Wi-Fi through LAN hosted web page. Now in this paper, there was one blunder that the Wi-Fi being used by the customer through its smartphone. Not every customer has a fully fledged smartphone, and not every customer is willing to connect to a unknown or public Wi-Fi because of security reasons. But it had a great point of usage of Wi-Fi and web page. Talking about the second paper, in second paper they used expensive hardware such as Zigbee and Raspberry Pi on every table. Now there were many papers suggested usage of Zigbee, HC05 and Raspberry Pi, but since Zigbee and Raspberry Pi do not come into our survey, like I mean, they do not fall under our economical constraints. So we discarded usage of Zigbee and Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is being used, but not completely discarded. But the Zigbee is not the right way to go because it will be a overkill to our product. Now, since we had economical constraints, we also saw one paper which used HC05 as Bluetooth module. Now, the problem with HC05 was it had a range of 10 meters on theoretically, but it worked around 8 meters, which was very less. We needed a connectivity module which had its range around 10 to 20 meters. So this was also discarded. But we also came to know that HC05 is a very good Bluetooth module, but can't be used in our project. So now talking about the fourth paper suggests the usage of a buzzer or any indicator from the kitchen side. Now, if the customer has ordered something, if the availability is not there, the kitchen can check the availability and send it back to the customer. So we noted that point that can be done through a touch screen. No need of a buzzer or switch is required. Now the fifth paper, this suggested use of RF general RF modules. not some high-end RF module, but a general RF module. Now the problem with RF modules is that many RF modules do not work when too many RF modules are connected in a single place. So this raised a big question that what RF module should be used. So this paper was very important for us. Now there were many papers which use GSM modules. Now GSM modules is not required for a very small area, and it does not fit in our economical constraints. So GSM module was also discarded, and also they didn't have very good graphical user interface. The main thing for the customer is graphical user interface. So we also kept that point in our mind. Now, as after going through the papers, our survey, restaurant survey, we had a clear picture of our project. The project was divided into three major parts: the dining area, the kitchen area, and the billing section. The dining area consisted of a display with a very good GUI. The main concern is obviously the customers, so they should appreciate the GUI, and which will also increase the marketing of the restaurant. And also the table should have a connectivity module which can communicate to the kitchen. Now the kitchen has a display which can a chef can look on it, and it can look the current and previous orders, and also let table and the billing section know about the uh, availability of the thing item. So also a microcontroller and a module is required, connectivity module is required. Now the billing section is the head of the whole project, which clusters everything. Every information from the table and the kitchen is clustered in the billing section. A thermal printer is also kept available for printout bills. Few people are not convenient with the online billing system, so we have also provided a thermal printer. And after all of that is done, after all the research is done, the main part is the component selection. Now we first talking about the connectivity module. We made a list of RF modules and Bluetooth modules which satisfied our needs through the restaurant survey and literature survey. So five modules were selected. Initially, seven were selected. HC05 been discarded by that literature survey, and Zigbee also because of economical constraints. So we considered these five connectivity modules. Now talking about NRF24. NRF24 is a very good connectivity module which works on SPI communication to communicate from microcontroller and the module. Now the problem with the NRF24 is that it's very hard to calibrate, and it uses SPI communication. Now SPI communication requires more pins compared to other modules, like other communication method like serial port interface. So theoretically, HC12 and NRF were very similar. But let me talk about HC12 first. Now HC12 is also a trans receiver module. The problem with the NRF was it had a range of 100 meter, but range was not the main problem in our project. Both were almost similar, but HC12 had a freedom of that we didn't require any library to work on it, and also it is very simple to use, and the baud rate and the other parameters can be changed using its command, which are already available using AT commands. And it used a serial port communication. Although HC12 and NRF are very famous modules in IoT, both had a very great battle while selecting. We also considered other modules like LORA. In LORA, the LORA is used for low power and secure data transmission, but LORA is mainly used for long range communication, like M2M. If consider for example tracking an animal or long range IoT applications, and as it uses FSK modulations, so it is very slow compared to other. Although there is a long range, but it is very slow compared to others. We need a fast communication modules. It is a pretty good communication module, but not for our project. Now CC1101 is also a very good trans receiver. Now it works on 1 gigahertz, and it requires an extra pair of antenna, where NRF and HC12 had inbuilt antenna with them. So this requires another pair of antennas we can solder, or we can connect it in many different ways. But it increases the space and extra requirements of hardware. It also uses SPI communication, which is quite difficult compared to serial port communication. Now last, this is the 433 megahertz module, it is the very cheap, but very cheap compared to all the other modules. And since it is very cheap, it has a very big blunder that it is a simplex communication module. Means from point A we can't receive the signal, we can only receive or transmit at the single time. It will require extra pair of hardware for both the sides of communication. So it was also discarded, but it was also kept for concentration. Now this is the comparison of all the four modules through datasheet. And from all of this we decided that the ideal connectivity module could have been NRF or HC12. But since NRF theoretically seems very nice, but practically it has many issues like calibration and connectivity and interface issues, and NRF modules don't really work all the time, where HC12 is very reliable module.
Can I interrupt here?
Yes,
Excuse
ma'am.
me. Can I interrupt here? You are saying NRF is having lots of issue, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
have you started working on that, or you all have just made a survey?
Ma'am,
Like you
actually, past year I have worked on NRF module and C12 module. Ma'am,
have you
NRF
purchased that?
modules, ma'am, right now no, but last year I worked on an NRF module.
Okay, okay. So okay,
Okay, so
okay. Go
shall I
ahead.
continue, ma'am? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So HC12 module had a serial port communication, and it is used in many IoT devices, and it is one of the most famous communication device. But is it really required to use an external connectivity module? Because as we did our survey, every restaurant had a particular Wi-Fi module or Wi-Fi router in its vicinity. So is it really required to use an external module, or a microcontroller can take its place? So this will be answered by my teammate Pratik. I will stop this screen. He will share now. Okay.
Just a second, I'm sharing the screen. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, sir and ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So my voice is audible.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I'll start. So, considering the availability of Wi-Fi in the restaurants, we needed the component that has integrated TCP/IP stack, and it is compatible with the MQTT protocol. And there are many microcontrollers available in the market that can be used to implement the project in different ways, but out of which only few satisfy our requirement in the way we are implementing it. To implement our project, following are the major deciding factors or suitable criteria for the selection of MCU. Microcontroller which is cheap and readily available in the market, having good programmable flash memory, can be chosen. This is the first criteria. And the latest microcontroller often comes with many advanced features that eliminates the need of extra module or extra circuits, like a microcontroller with sufficient memory will make circuit more sophisticated. And we have done research with three different types of, actually with more microcontroller, but out of we selected you Arduino board, ESP board, and the Raspberry Pi. And talking about the ESP boards, which consumes low power, has high memory, and integrated with TCP/IP stack. If we use Arduino boards, we need a module to support Wi-Fi, hence increasing the cost and the complexity. while we have the same functions available in ESP boards with less cost. Also, Arduino boards are 10 times slower than the boards. And Arduino boards are better compared to analog, as it has better sensing of analog data, which is not a project. Now comes the most powerful microcontroller with more advanced function, high processing power, high storage, and inbuilt Wi-Fi.
Sorry to
Based on
interrupt,
the
Pratik.
specs and the performance analysis,
Yeah, Pratik,
Your
have you-
screen is not changing slides.
Yes, and also keep it in slideshow. Moreover, have you logged in from 2 devices?
yes,
or-
madam, it is. No,
And
Only
he is
one-
not
only
audible
from my
also.
laptop I logged in.
Slow.
Yeah, Pratik, you're not very well audible as well. Your screen is not changing. And you're not put a
Actually,
slide.
actually, you could have, kept Jay as presenting, and you could have
Same,
just
same
spoken.
screen and yes, yes. One
Yeah,
can
you
share
can-
the screen and others can.
Let Jay share the screen
No need
now.
to.
Okay, ma'am, I will stop sharing. Maybe
Jay,
some problem.
continue because let
can
that
add-
Okay, ma'am.
flow not interrupt. Let that flow not get interrupted.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
I'll stop sharing.
Yes, yes.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
From
Pratik, you-
start, from where should I start, ma'am?
It's okay where you
Will
left.
you? Yes.
Sheila madam, where? Sheila madam can tell where to start.
chalega ma'am. You can start with MCU. Yes.
Okay,
You were at
And
that
let me-
point now, microcontroller selection. Yes.
let me confirm my voice is audible.
It's there, but little disturbance is there. Voice exactly is not clear. Okay,
I
there is
don't know
some.
what the problem is because
You can
Net
keep
is
your
also
microphone near your, speak near to your microphone.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
just a second. Hello.
No, then also it is low.
I don't know what's the problem because everything is looking fine here. Maybe I will speak more loudly.
Yeah, now it's proper. You speak loudly and continue now, please.
Okay. So to implement our project, following are the major deciding factor.
Voice is breaking.
Microphone.
I think there is some
just a second.
internet connectivity
Issue.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah, at
Yes,
his
sir.
side.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Pratik.
Hello.
Yeah, Pratik, we can hear you. Pratik.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you able to hear us? नहीं, उसका नेटवर्क इशू है मैम शायद उसका.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let us ask somebody else to continue. The third person can continue.
At least.
Yes. Pratik, if you can join via mobile, there will be a better connectivity.
Sir, it's what you are looking.
Dhairya, can you take over, Dhairya?
Yes, Dharya, can you take over from here? Pratik will join.
Yes, sir. No problem. I will take over.
Yeah.
So as Pratik said, we researched about the different kinds of microcontrollers available in the market. But the main point of our focus was the connectivity option, which is already included or inbuilt in the microcontroller. So Jay, next slide. So we came across ESP based boards. These boards are fast, have a low power consumption, so that there would be no problem if we also run it on battery power. They also have a high power, and the most important factor, they have Wi-Fi connectivity built in. In comparison to them, Arduino boards are very slow as they run with a clock speed of 16 megahertz, whereas ESP boards range from 52 megahertz to 160 megahertz, which is 10 times faster. Also, Arduino has no connectivity built in on its board. If we need some connectivity such as Wi-Fi, GPS, or Bluetooth, we need to attach some shields or other connectivity modules to it through SPI or I2C. In ESP, no circuitry is required for such communication. Also, whereas Raspberry Pi, in its comparison, has all the factors built in, but it is a high computing single board computer, which is also of high cost and was not required in this case. Therefore, we decided to go with ESP8266. Next slide, please. This is the comparison chart of the three boards, Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and ESP8266. In ESP-based boards, we had two options, whether to go with 8266 or 32. 32 is nothing but the extended version of 8266. It has all the
Arya?
functionality of 8266. Yes, sir.
Pratik has joined. Pratik, can you continue?
Yes, sir. Now it's fine, sir. So,
Yeah, let's speak a little louder.
okay, sir. Jay, starting from the beginning.
No, continue from where Dharya has left.
So I think
From 8266 versus 32.
almost done, sir. If it is still okay, I'll continue from there. So,
Yeah.
sir, we came across two different ESP modules. One is the ESP8266 and the ESP32.
Pratik, can you start from previous slide, that comparison between ESP8266 and Arduino? This previous slide. Yeah. Okay.
For this table, all the comparisons are mentioned before that slides.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I
No,
think
this is fine.
I don't know.
You
I
can
left
continue.
the meeting, so I don't know what they explained.
No, you can continue from this slide.
Okay, madam. In short, I will say all the benefits of it.
Have you to speak anything apart from that, whatever is being displayed?
Yes. ma'am.
Otherwise, you can go to the next slide.
ESP boards consume low power, has high memory, and it is integrated with TCP/IP stack. And if you are using Arduino boards, we need to add extra module to support Wi-Fi, hence increasing the cost and the complexity. While we have the same functions available with the ESP modules at the low cost. Also, ESP modules are 10 times faster than the Arduino boards. And if you want to use Arduino boards, they are only better when it comes to analog input, and it has better sensing of analog data, which is not in our project.
Okay.
And coming to Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi is more advanced. It has high processing power, high storage, and inbuilt Wi-Fi. Based on the specs and the performance analysis, Raspberry Pi definitely emerges as a winner when it comes to satisfying most of our functional requirement, but at the cost of higher price. Jay, next slide. And in ESP boards, we came across two boards which are suitable for our project. First is the ESP8266 and second is ESP32. ESP32 is an advanced version of ESP8266 with more functionality and little difference in the cost. But we have chosen ESP8266 for this project as none of the more functionality that are present in ESP32 are of any use to our project. And we have selected Raspberry Pi as a broker microcontroller for MQTT protocol, as it works more efficiently with Raspberry Pi than the ESP8266. And there is no compatibility issue with the ESP8266 of the display. That's all from my side. I hand it over to Dhairya to continue further. I'm sorry for the net issue.
So coming to the display part, we had three major requirements from the display side. First of all, it should be touch enabled. It should offer a GUI experience, which is a graphical user interface, and it should also be user friendly and programmer friendly. Next slide, please. Upon researching the various types of touchscreen displays available in the market, we came across 5 major types, which are resistive, capacitive, projected, capacitive, SAW, and infrared. Upon detailed comparison, we concluded that capacitive would be the best choice for our project as it offers a 98% of clarity. It is also touch sensitive, and it is also sturdy. Also, one of the major factors of considering capacitive display is that it supports multi-point finger touch, whereas resistive displays only support touch by means of a stylus. Also, SAW and infrared types of displays are not easily available in the market and are also of very high cost.
Can I interrupt here?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go to that slide. What about activate with any object? It shows poor, right? For the capacitive one. And you said you will be using capacitive type of sensor, right? For touch.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So can you explain me on that? Because for others, if you see or compare, I think it is good.
Yeah, ma'am. But
Is there any other reason for using? Yeah.
no, ma'am. Upon researching about it in the datasheet of the selected display, it is completely touch enabled.
All must be touch enabled, no? All are touch sensors.
Yeah, ma'am, but
It's only
some resistive displays are only stylus enabled. It means that you need any hard pointed object or a stylus for the touch sensing.
But over
no,
here,
I just want to
yes,
ask you. Yes, sir, please.
We can
actually,
see that
there it shows poor, right? Activate
correct,
with
same
any
point.
object is poor. So I just wanted you to confirm. So you said you are going to select or you have selected capacitive type of sensor, right? So if this comparison says us it is poor, right? When we want to activate any object, it shows poor. What I can say if you compare with the other things. So why you are selecting the capacitive type of sensor only? My question is that.
Ma'am, because it is also very sturdy and it is not prone to damage from humidity, rain, snow, and also it can be cleaned very easily.
But I think that is our main purpose. Touch is our main purpose, na? I think in your
yeah, ma'am. But in this chart, they have given a general representation or general comparison of the displays. But the display which we have selected, it is very good in multi-point touch. I will also show you the data sheet of that one in upcoming
Why not
slides.
go for projective capacitive in the screen? It's made.
Yeah,
point
sir. We
is
also
good.
thought of it, but they are not easily available in the market, and also they are of very high cost.
Okay. The cost
one of
factor.
Therefore,
one
at
question
first
I
only
want
we
to ask,
discard the three
this
displays, the
table
projected
you
capacitive
prepared this table or you got readily available
No,
on the
ma'am. We
net?
got it from a blog while researching.
Okay.
Dhairya, is it also finger touch is poor? In your capacitive sensor, you have said poor finger or capacitive stylus. Just find out even finger is involved into that or only capacitive stylus.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Because
I think, ma'am, because according to my research, I read many blogs and research papers. In that, it is given that capacitive displays are very user friendly because they provide multi-point touch, whereas they are not very compatible with stylus. Whereas resistives are compatible with stylus.
Yes, there must not be a finger touch problem. Maybe you can.
Yeah, ma'am. Because this is a very generalized comparison. They have written it like this: finger or capacitive
Our
stylus.
main purpose is it should be operated with a touch.
Yeah, ma'am. That's why we
Yes.
selected this one.
Yes. Kirti madam has rightly pointed out thing. Please make confirmation for this.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Sure, we will do it. Next slide. So upon further researching about capacitive displays, we found out that under capacitive displays there are two major types of displays available. One category of displays which connect to MCU via SPI based communication or I2C based communication. In these types of displays, the programmer has to program at what pixel what should be drawn on the screen. So for an example, suppose your display is of 480 pixels by 320 pixels. It comes to about 1,53,500 pixels. So the programmer has to program about all the pixels and provide at what pixel what would be shown on the screen, which is a very tedious task and also is not a graphic friendly, so that the outcome would not be very attractive. So we came across a display named NextGen display. This is a special kind of display which has an STM32 microcontroller on its board, which means it takes care of the whole rendering process and the graphical process. So the programmer has to program in its special software named Nexten GUI editor about its graphical user interface, and all of it would be compiled and directly sent to the STM32 microcontroller, and the output would be a very attractive GUI. This display has its own proprietary editor software named Nexten GUI, where the programmer can quickly develop the human-machine interface GUI by many user-friendly processes such as drag and drop and all. Also, it does not have connectivity like SPI and I2C, but has a connectivity of UART, Universal Asynchronous Transmit and Receive, which only connects to MCU via 4 pins, 5 volts, ground, transmit and receive, which also reduces the complexity of the connection. Next slide, please. In this display, these were the available sizes of the screens available. It ranges from 2.4 inches to 7 inches. We found out that the optimal display would be 3.5 inches, as it also suited our budget requirement and also had an optimum resolution of 480 by 320 pixels. Therefore, we decided to go with this display, 3.5 inches. Next slide. Coming to the thermal printer part. For selection of thermal printer, we had a flexibility as there were no constraints from any side. Therefore, our major requirement was it should be easily available in the market and it should be of low cost. Considering these factors, we came across this thermal printer from Casino named CSN A1. It offered serial connectivity, therefore it could easily be connected and interfaced with any microcontroller. Next slide. This is the data sheet of the thermal printer. The printing speed and the resolution all satisfies our requirement. Therefore, we decided to go with this one. Now coming to the whole methodology part about how the different components of our project would communicate with each other. So we decided to implement the MQTT protocol. For the communication part, MQTT stands for Message Queuing Telemetry Transport. It is a lightweight system which is based on publish subscribe network protocol that transports messages between devices. This protocol is based upon TCP/IP. This is one of the most popular protocols which is used for Internet of Things applications. So correlating it with our project, all the devices on the tables of customers can publish a message to the broker, which would consist of details such as the ordered item, the ordered quantity and its price. The message would be sent to an MQTT broker. And then further, the broker would transmit the ordered details to the kitchen section. Now, after checking the availability of the items, the kitchen would further broadcast a message to the customer that whether the item is available or not. Then finally, upon the dining of the customer would send a message that he has done dining to the billing section, so that the billing section would generate a bill and send it back to the customer.
How many displays would be there in your project?
We have thought of implementing 5 displays at 5 tables and 1 display at the kitchen section, 1 at the billing section. So total in all it would be around 7.
And size will be same for all the displays? What you said, 3.5?
And we can vary it, but we are thinking of maintaining a 3.5 display as a standard across all the tables, whereas in kitchen section, according to the requirements of chef and other workers over there, we can also increase the display to a 4.3-inch one or 5-inch one, whereas in the billing section, as it would be the main hub and act as a broker, we are planning to implement a 7-inch display over there.
So for customer, that displays would be attached to that table?
Yeah, with the MCU.
And how you are going to send the message to the kitchen? It is also through the display or through
Through the MCU,
SMS
ma'am.
kind of?
The display will only act as a graphical user interface wherein the user will select the order details, and then this information would be transmitted serially to the MCU, which in our case is ESP8266, and the ESP8266 through Wi-Fi will send the details to the broker, which is at the billing section, and the broker will distribute it to the kitchen section. And this is how everything will work via MQTT and Wi-Fi.
Okay.
In this diagram, it is shown that all the displays would be connected to an MCU, and the MCUs would be connected to the Raspberry Pi, which is the broker in our case, through Wi-Fi. And the Raspberry Pi will transmit the information where it is required, where and when it is required. And also, as I mentioned, a 7-inch display would be connected to Raspberry Pi, which would showcase all the details such as which table is ordering what quantity and which table is vacant, which is not vacant, for the management purpose.
Okay.
This is the interfacing of our display with the microcontroller. The interfacing is very simple, as I mentioned, because it implements UART protocol. Therefore, only 2 main lines need to be connected in a crisscross pattern, which are the RX and TX lines to the MCU. And the supply is to be given, which is 5 volts and ground. That is the connection of the display with the MCU. This is the whole design of the project. There would be a main broker, which in our case is the Raspberry Pi. A 7-inch display and a printer would be attached to it for management purposes and the billing purpose. This is the...
So I think in your project, all MCU, Node MCU, Raspberry Pi, all things are available readily, right? Printer,
Yes, ma'am.
touch screen. Yes. So only I think
Yes,
you have to do interfacing and programming part of.
Yeah, ma'am. But in future, upon testing with our display, we can also implement the circuitry of ESP8266 on a PCB and make it compact and a whole unit.
Okay.
For testing purposes, we will use the ESP8266 programming board. Upon the successful testing, we will implement it on a PCB.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes. The literature part again is another important aspect that they are.
Yeah. This is the developed GUI using the next-gen software, as I said before. This is the page 1. Previous slide.
Have you made this GUI or it is available?
No, ma'am. I have made it from scratch. I can also share my screen and show you the programming part.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, ma'am. So I have inserted 3 buttons on the home screen, which is a menu part. If the user touches on the menu part, then the menu screen would open. This is the phone part. We have thought that if to implement this, as if some user needs some help from a waiter or something, then he will press this button and a buzzer will ring in the kitchen section so that someone will come to help out the customer. And this is the I button, means if some customer wants some information about the restaurant and its things, then he can press this button. We can also customize it in many ways. This is a sample menu developed. This is the simulation part of the display. So in short, I will explain you the working of this display. So suppose if someone presses the menu button, then the display will return a hex code, which is in this case is 65000201FFFFFF. It means in short that the user has pressed the menu button. So this message would be transmitted to the MCU, and MCU in turn will tell the display that menu button is pressed, and so the next page would be displayed. This is the budget analysis of our project. For the budget purpose, we have considered a setup of 5 tables plus kitchen area and billing section. It all comes to around a package of 25,000.
I would like to interrupt, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, this is the complete package. Like if you are starting a restaurant from scratch, because as we have seen, many restaurants do have computers for billing section and printers for billing purposes. And so this is the complete package. Not every restaurant will have the same package. Like not every restaurant will have same average amount of payable amount for a particular table.
Yeah. So if some restaurant has a computer and a thermal printer attached, then we can subtract 3,000 rupees for the RPi display, 2,350 for Raspberry Pi and thermal printer, as we can also install the broker of MQTT on the computer available at the restaurant's premises.
This is good that you have started budgeting your project right now. And it should always, it should be updated whenever it is implemented.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the total cost of your project? It is same. What you are saying, 24,000?
Yeah, ma'am. We have developed this budget by our own.
You might have, yes. So you are going to do like invest this much amount?
No, ma'am. For the testing purposes, we will only use one display at a table. It means that we will simulate only one table. If that is working, it eventually means that our system is working, so that we can attach more displays and expand our project.
So now you will have only single display, no?
Yeah, ma'am.
This is a total cost.
So what is the cost for your project? Have you calculated that? Like for single display and all?
Ma'am, it would come around 5,000 rupees as of now.
Okay. And have you started doing?
Ma'am, we have done the simulation part, the interfacing part, and the development of GUI.
Okay. One of basic question I want to ask. As you said earlier, like at the start, we are now actually we don't want to use public Wi-Fi and all, right? Because there are a number of frauds taking place.
Yeah.
So what alternative is there for your project in that case?
Ma'am, our project is completely safe, ma'am, as the customers do not have to log in from their phone to the public Wi-Fi, whereas we will have our own components which would be connected to the Wi-Fi network. So the customer's data is safe, as he doesn't have to connect his phone or something to the Wi-Fi network of the restaurant.
Pay also through phone, na? Online banking and all. If somebody is ordering.
Yeah, ma'am, exactly.
Yes.
So there was in the literature survey, there was a paper which implemented the method which you said, that the customer connects to the Wi-Fi network of the restaurant and does the process. Considering the security factor, we discarded that paper and came over to this system.
That's why, ma'am, we are using MCU with Wi-Fi built.
Okay. So I don't know about that in detail, but it gives you the security, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Inbuilt Wi-Fi in that. There are. It is mentioned somewhere in that.
Ma'am, we can just create a LAN connectivity network. So
Okay.
so there will be security. No one will able to connect to our Wi-Fi.
Also, ma'am, the protocol which we are using, MQTT, it also supports TLS, which is transport layer security. So all the data which is transmitted, such as the order details and the customer details, would be encrypted, and the outside people will not be able to access.
Okay. Fine.
Kirti
Can
ma'am,
you go to the comparison slide? Therefore, I think I don't know a number of that slide.
the comparison slide, please.
Wait a
Yes.
second, sir. So, ma'am, comparison between what, ma'am? Am I audible?
Let anyone comparison, let madam check whether that is the required one. Yeah, Shila madam, you can just tell which comparison in that case.
Yes, ma'am. Wireless communication
I will
module
ask you
only. Yes.
to you go ahead.
So you are using which one? You said.
Ma'am, we are not using any wireless external communication module. We are using
You are not using
ESP8266.
any.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we were we were meant to be use one of them, but after researching and after doing the restaurant survey, we came to know that Wi-Fi is available in all the restaurants. So no need of extra wireless module is required.
Okay, so you are not using
No, ma'am.
this wireless module. Okay, so okay, fine. Okay, okay, that's it. Okay. Yeah.
Kirti ma'am, any suggestions
Yes,
for
sir.
them? Ma'am, any more suggestions, Sheila ma'am?
No, sir, that's it. I have asked questions to them. Project is good.
Okay. So Sheila, Kirti ma'am.
Yeah, I think it's fine, going on well. Progress is okay. They can even now later on we can have a trial in our canteen itself, maybe sometimes when they start implementing, if possible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it can
Yes,
possible.
actually, someone
Yes, sir.
should
Yes,
use
we can do
this.
that.
Since you
We'll
are
have to
making
check.
so since they are making a such a very useful project or a product, so if someone uses it, then only it will be useful.
Yes,
Useful,
definitely.
and we can implement
Doing
that, sir, in our canteen. We can start from canteen itself, as madam said.
And as you are going stepwise, it's a very good stepwise progress. But definitely, if this spirit continues, we should get, and it should continue. I mean, not that. So you should get a useful product out of it, which will be useful to the. I mean, maybe let us say if canteen, it's okay if they agree. We'll have to check as well, but it should be completed properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, if your
Yes.
idea is, I mean, if you implement it perfectly, maybe you will get some sponsoring from some restaurants if you approach them. Definitely, yes, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes. Yes.
I have one or two suggestions. Can you move on to the slide? Remove the the full screen one. Yeah. So you have included lot of images which you have not made. So it's always
Sir,
recommended. Yeah. Let me complete. So it's
okay,
always
okay.
recommended that whenever you use any image which you have not prepared, you always add a reference at the bottom to give them acknowledgement, which was
Okay,
missing
sir.
in the slides. And even in the case of table, can you go to the tables? Wherever you have taken the tables from, now Daria mentioned about you have taken from a blog, please mention the reference. Okay, if you have made the
Okay, sir.
table on
From
your
next time,
own,
we will take care of
yeah,
it.
that's few suggestions which I found out that you can improve upon. Whenever you have any
Yeah.
table, you add the reference below, you have the space below, right? You can add that link where you have taken the reference from.
Okay.
Rest, the literature survey you have done is very good, and I
Very
think
good.
Kirti ma'am will agree, and Sheila ma'am will also agree that we can convert this into a
Yes, sir.
manuscript. They can submit a review paper.
Definitely, definitely, they can go ahead with the review paper for this.
Yeah, I'll strongly recommend that you do that. You will get a good recognition for that. Once you write your manuscript, you can submit it or present it in a journal or a conference. So that will be also a good addition to your resume also.
Yes, yes.
Because you have done so much amount of
All
work,
the-
don't leave it.
You have to collect all these opportunities.
Correct.
It's an opportunity as well as it is, experience. So you should not leave even a bit of it. That kind of spirit, if you maintain, it's going to be really helpful to you in future.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a
Yes, yes.
platform. Yeah, this is a platform. The project itself is your platform.
Yeah, you can utilize this, the lockdown period which we, have, and work on a manuscript, and also simultaneously go ahead and work with your project. So good tempo you'll have maintained. We'll expect that all this tempo is maintained for the entire duration of this project.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, so very good. Okay then.
Okay, Sheila ma'am and Kirti ma'am, can we tell them to stop sharing? And I think
Yes, sir.
there are no more questions
Students
from.
yeah, students can leave if they have, I mean, if anything, anybody else has not to ask anything, then we can ask them to go for.
Yes, yes. Jay, you can answer your screen. Do students
sir.
you want to ask any questions?
If students want to ask any question.
Sir, I had a question regarding the implementation. Sir, as of now, we do have a availability of the microcontroller, but if we don't, will it be provided or we have to buy it by our own?
Which microcontroller you're talking about? MCU,
Sir,
Node MCU.
we do have a Node MCU, but we don't have a Raspberry Pi 4.
Raspberry Pi 4. We need to check out in the college. I think Kirti ma'am, we might be
Probably
having.
Raspberry Pi. Sir, Raspberry Pi, we are having it only in e-form. Probably even in our college, in image processing lab, Sudha madam had put a purchase, but that purchase got cancelled, it seems. So there are no Raspberry Pis in the image processing lab. But in this recent budget, Ninad sir had put, we had even included, but that budget has not processed, that purchase has not further processed due to lockdown, right, sir? So
Yeah,
probably
correct.
I think right now we are not having that provision.
Okay, ma'am.
But if possible, if you can use your seniors, that is what last time also students did. They have used their seniors this thing. Due to lockdown, I don't know how far we'll be able to process all these things. So if possible, you can try that option. If I mean, that is your side. It's a not so easy thing.
Yes, ma'am. It's an excellent idea. Basically, the seniors, who are actually going to pass out now, they have just completed their BTech project. So I think the
Yes.
hardware, the Raspberry Pi might be available. You can borrow it from them, and maybe you can, buy also at a lower cost from them because they have already implemented them or something. Correct, ma'am?
Yeah,
Kirti,
yeah.
ma'am?
Yes, yes, yes. Even I'll check if anybody is there in my group somewhere earlier once. If we can use that,
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
because what for
Also,
them is
sir,
they finish it and they leave it like that, na? So we can make a use of that.
Yes, correct. Yes, Jay.
sir, also we don't have any idea about how to issue an manuscript and in journal paper. So can you guide us
Don't
on
worry
that?
about it. Don't worry. We will guide you about it. Don't worry. We
Okay,
will
sir.
share
Yes,
your
thank you.
sample.
Probably,
Basic. Yeah.
again, whatever fees and all will be involved in that, na? Probably for the manuscript, whatever they are going to pay, that also we can apply to SDC. I think
Yes,
such
yes.
things are encouraged. Yes,
Yeah,
such
such things are
proposals.
encouraged.
Yes, yes.
So you don't worry about
Okay.
that. You just keep on working. We will guide you on the manuscript part.
Okay, yes, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
So with your spirit, if you continue and get it along with very nice, good project, then probably we can think of even applying the whole project to the SDC. But that depends on how much is your, I mean, enthu of completing properly and all that. Afterwards, college encourages. It's not that college won't encourage. But we cannot assure 100% like that because it is not directly in our hands.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
right? So you go with a good work this thing.
Yes, yes, yes. And also, Dhairy, I forgot one point in that app which you have built,
Yes, sir.
that pizza, that KJSE, what was that? What name you have given?
KJC Pizzeria, sir. We have just thought of it.
Pizzeria. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in that, one more option you can have it like a bill. So directly after the all the orders are done and the customers are ready to pay the bill, you can display the bill only there also.
Okay, yes, sir. We can think of it.
You can include that option also. Ki
Yes,
based
yes,
on
sir.
the
Yes.
based on the, because if you're making such a wonderful service, then why not bill also? Bill is also
Yes,
directly
sir. This
displayed.
was just an idea. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
as many customizations as we want.
Yes, yes, yes. So there's just a suggestion I thought of to sharing
Oh,
with you.
yes, sir. We'll surely consider it.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, then if I think all the questions have been answered from the students part and from the teachers part also. Yes, ma'am. Kirti ma'am and
Yeah.
Sheila ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Yes, yes, sir.
So can we conclude this meeting then? Students, please leave the meeting then.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'll stop the recording also.
yes, yes.